Hi, it's Nikki here at the Sanctuary for Emotional Wellness, and we're looking at prosperity, financial abundance, the wealth mindset, all this area around money. And what I actually learned through my journey as I spiraled into debt a few times in my life. And one of the biggest lessons I learned was about letting go. And it got to a point on my journey where I just had enough. I think I was at that point, I was probably about 7,000 or 8,000 euros in debt. And I just couldn't see any light at the tunnel. I was just fed up, absolutely fed up of, having to decide who I would spend my €5 on to feed my cats, my daughters, or me. And yeah, I'd had enough. And I was driving my car one day and thought, I can't take this anymore. I pulled over and I just closed my eyes and I almost shouted to the divine, help me, I can't take this anymore, help me. And this image came into my mind and they said to me, Nikki, let go of the handlebars. And there was obviously a picture of handlebars and just letting go. And I was like, pardon? And they said, let go of the handlebars. You're trying to steer left and we're trying to steer you right. And it was like, oh, I'd never seen that before. I'd never thought about it before. And they said, all you need to do is pedal. Just put in your energy, just do what you're doing during the day, whatever, just put in the energy and give everything else up to the divine. And so that's what I did. I literally let go of the handlebars. The whole visual to me was so strong that when they said, you want to go left, but we're trying to steer you right. And if you've ever done that on the bicycle, when you're trying to go one way and somebody's like kind of pulling the handlebars the other way, what happens? You fall off. And it's very hard to keep upright. And basically that they were saying that what I thought was the right way was not the right way. They had other ways for me. They had another direction for me, and to let go of any expectation of where I was heading. And so I literally gave up that, okay, all I need to do is just concentrate on finding joy, of being happy in the moment, of doing what I love doing, of enjoying my job, and everything else will fit into place. And with my job, I was an English trainer and I was paid only for the hours I would work. There would be months of the year, especially the whole of August and the whole of January and the whole of May, there'd be very little work coming in and I would often come out with a zero salary and €1,000 coming out. Now, before this vision, I was just that feeling, when you're going downhill and it's so fast and you're just gripping onto the handlebars and the brake thing, oh my God. That was a feeling I was having all the time. Post that vision and the letting go, I thought, okay, fine. I've got no money coming in. It's going to be fine. The divine's telling me to let go, that they've got my back. And so I just let go of that worry. And I'll speak about this more in another video about worry and fear, etc. And especially tomorrow. But at that moment, it really helped clear. I began to see that such emotions like worry and anxiety were actually blocking my vision. And once I let go of those, everything came so much clearer, that solutions began to come in, that people would turn up who would help me. And slowly but surely over time, I would start finding my way out of debt. And I eventually got out of debt. I mean, it started back in 2010, 2011, and I got out of debt probably around about 2018. And so, that was absolutely huge. I began to see the way. It's like almost like clearing my glasses of this worry and the anxiety and the fear. And so since that moment, I've really learnt to let go in so many ways and absolute trust the divine. It's the other vision that comes up, the other image rather, is one of like a radar. When you're like an air traffic controller and you're looking at that radar of the planes, You only see what's within the radar. You don't see the other planes coming through. You don't see them, but they're there. And so the same thing is we only see what's on the radar. We don't see what else is coming in for us. And it's trusting that's what's beyond that radar. And allowing those planes, if you like, to come in to your zone. And so I would say that the biggest moment when I really had to let go and absolutely trust the divine has nothing to do with money at all. But for me, it's the biggest proof of how I trusted in that, in the actual process. Just prior to the lockdown, I received three signs, if you like, for the divine. The first was I had finished work at 5:30. I got in my car, switched on my car, and the digital clock, it was a new car, digital clock showed 4:30. And I was like, what? Can't be 4:30. And literally I had to stop and work my way through the day, what had happened, what time I'd started, what lessons I'd had, what had happened just prior. I thought, it can't be 4:30, it has to be 5:30. The time's wrong. It's showing English time, that's weird. And then I then went to connect my phone to the Bluetooth, and my phone had been completely eradicated from the system. And this other name appeared on the screen, this other phone, which was an English name, something like Joe Blogg's phone or something. I had no idea who this person was. What was it doing in my system? There was no one else around. This was a French car, it was in a French car park in the middle of France. I thought, this is weird. Okay, this is 2 signs for the UK. And then 2 days later, they confirmed it to me. I found a £1 coin in my purse. Now, I don't have English money because I don't go back to the UK very often. It's not something I carry around with me. And there was £1 in there. Thinking, where the heck did that come from? So, okay, I get it. You want me to go back to the UK. Now, I'd been living in France for 20 years, and my absolute dream was to live in France. I always said I would die in France. This is my home. Why are you sending me back to the UK? I don't want to go back. And so I had to spend quite a few days or weeks, whatever, going on YouTube and looking at people who had filmed cities in the UK so that I could then go and watch them and feel how it was to be back in the UK, to get myself back in English mindset. And so the whole of lockdown was about me preparing to go back to the UK. I actually said, okay, I'm going to trust. I trust you, divine. I'll go back to the UK for you. And so I gave up a job that I loved. I left my daughters who were there. They had their father as well, and they were in their education stuff. They were 18, 21, that age. My daughters, I had to find a new home for my cat. I had to give up my home. I had to give up my dream of living in France to go back to the UK, which I didn't want to go back to. I had no job. I had nowhere to live, no money, nothing. I gave up everything. I went back with 30 boxes and that was it. I let go of all my everything. And so I went back to the UK and I found a house. Even though I had no money, this person gave me the possibility to stay in the home. I was on benefits. I was starting to put together the idea of creating my own business over there. I stayed at my mum's for a couple of weeks, which was also a healing process. And I immersed myself completely back into the English lifestyle. And it was at that point I realised that all my life I had avoided being English. I wanted to be French. I wanted to be almost as French as a French could be. I hated my English accent. Even if I speak French well, I still had an accent. And it was one time when somebody said, but Nikki, you have an English accent because you are English. You need to accept that. That was like a slap in the face. It woke me up to what was happening. And so I really had to make peace with this English part of me. I had no idea why, but I just knew I had to feel English, and I did. I dropped France. I closed my doors on France, but that's it. It's gone. English is a passageway. I know I need to make peace with this. And then bingo. I mean, I moved back to the UK in the August. In November, I connected with my twin soul mate. And that was in November. He's English. He lives in France. In one of the most English areas of France, full of expats, a place I absolutely avoided like the plague. And I moved into his home, which is now our home, which is here where I am, in the January, so 3 months after knowing each other. And I drove up to his home all the way from the UK and 7 hours from port down to here, from the port to here, and walked into a home that I'd never been to in this life, though I'm pretty well sure that I knew it in the last life. Walked into the house of somebody I'd never physically met. We'd Zoom called 3 times, and we married in the August at 11/11. Oh my goodness. And I realised that we'd been friends on Facebook for about 18 months, but nothing more than that. It was just general chitter-chatter. But when I moved over to the UK, it woke him up to the fact that how much he missed me. We'd never met before, but when I moved to the UK, he realised he missed me, but we'd never met. So it woke him up to how he was feeling. And I knew then that I'd had to make peace with my English side to live in an expat area of France, to live with an Englishman. I'd only ever had French partners before. And so this whole process of letting go, I had to absolutely trust in the divine. I had to give up my whole life completely and walk into this new life, absolutely blinding trust that the divine had plans for me. And oh my goodness, didn't they have plans for me? It's absolutely, I'm living a fairy tale now. I'm so blissfully happy. And so this to me, I think, is such a huge lesson in letting go, that when we let go of how we think it's supposed to be, this is where the magic really happens. It really is. We don't see beyond our noses, basically. We don't see what we don't know. How can we see what we don't know? The divine sees that, but we don't. And whatever that, when I talk about the divine, this can be anything for you. This can just be purely having faith. It can be whether you partake in a religion, if you're part of religion, if it's just spiritual, if it's just something bigger, the creator, whatever you want to call it. There is no one name. For me, I call it the divine. This absolute trust that they have your back. They can see the much bigger picture. They can see beyond this radar, whereas other humans can only see this one small part. And so it's trusting, because we don't know what is there for us in the future. And so at each moment, it's, to me, the most important is just finding that joy of being happy and being in the moment, and allowing everything else to unfold for you. And I'm pretty sure that when you go back in your life, if you remember moments where maybe it was difficult, or you made a decision, and how that affected your life, and how you see now how it affects you right now, you begin to see the bigger picture. That everything is like this thread of this tapestry, that once we pull it, it's very funny because I'm just looking at our the sofa in here, which is like a tapestry type of feeling, and this thing of pulling one thread, that each one little thread in your life pulls all these other threads in as well. And it's such a beautiful thing when you're able to completely let go and trust the process. And so often when we try and take control of that process, we actually slow it down, because what we're getting in the way, we're trying to force those handlebars going to the left. But we have no idea what is ahead of us. If I had said there's no way I'm going back to the UK. I'm stopping here in France. Don't be so stupid. I probably would have got to where I am now, but it would have probably taken so much longer. Or they would have probably put, what's the word? There's a word for it, not put a span in the works, but they would have done something. I'm thinking of the French, bâton dans les roues. Yeah, that they would have done something to stop me, and again to put me back on the track again. So it is a very big thing, and it brings in the whole subject of getting things right, perfectionism, control, the whole huge area that goes on under this notion of letting go. And often when we want to control, it's because that there's a fear there. There's a fear of letting go of control, that the fear of the unknown, we don't know what's going to happen. But my goodness, when you jump, that net is so there to catch you. And I think sometimes in our life, we have to live through some of those moments when we have to jump. We almost have to force ourselves to jump so that we feel that net. And that net to me is a divine, it's faith. Again, on however that feels for you. But there is something so much bigger. So it can start with small actions of letting go. Obviously not, you don't need to go and change country straight away. But very small actions of letting go of control. You know, there's a thing with Reiki called Just for Today. It's the Reiki principles. And just for today, I will not worry. Just for today, I won't be angry. And so just for today, let go of control of how you think it should be. And it's a scary process at first because we don't know where we're going. But once we do it, it takes us to absolutely magical places. And that truly is where the magical happens. Because that's when we start seeing the synchronicities play in. Because we've let go of the handlebars. The divine is now fully there in control. And we're just like, woo, I'm enjoying this ride. I'm just going forwards. And it's truly beautiful. And you know, I think there's so much in society as well that keeps us in this moment of control. Especially, you know, I see it in France with, you know, with companies who are paying your pension fund, they're paying a 30-month bonus, you have the social security, you have your health, you have this, and it's all keeping you in, you know, we can keep you secure. But that's not where the magic happens. When you actually leave that and allow things to fall into place, it's huge. And there's an expression, isn't there, that you know, a boat wasn't made to keep in the harbour. It was made to be out there and to sail the rough seas. And we don't know the strength of our sails, and we don't know the strength of our wings until we learn to fly, until we let go of that branch and fly. And so I would say to you as a piece of advice is try small things of letting go and taking that small risk, especially if you're really in that area of control and needing to know and needing to know every last detail. Of try it with small things where there's not much risk and see what happens and go bigger and bigger, or just go full in. And just see what happens. But it's truly magical of that feeling of letting go. And as I said, you know, when I did let go in that moment of death, that's when, again, that the magic happened. When people and things came in, showed me that they obviously didn't, you know, my debt wasn't cleared like that. They brought in things to help me, probably to learn, to help me to see, to help me to grow. People I would connect with who would probably give me advice, and slowly but surely, you know, everything went back in reverse and I found my way out, and here I am living the tale. So I'd love, you know, for you to put your thoughts and comments in the comments below. It's such a huge, powerful subject. I could probably talk all day about letting go, but I won't. So I should probably go and do some more videos now about the other things that it leads on to, because it's a vast subject. But it's a beautiful one, and it's not just about the money. It's what it taught me through the money and through the debt that I've actually applied to the rest of my life. So I'm so thankful for those moments. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please don't hesitate to subscribe to the channel so you get to see more of these videos, and obviously it supports me as well. And do put any thoughts or comments below, or how you have let go in your life as well, and how you found your wings. Thank you so much for listening.